Welcome back to the class. We're continuing the series of lesson on essay writing, and today yet another important lesson regarding essay, and today it's going to be the structure of an essay. Structure of an essay. All right. Now, as I shared the rubrics with you yesterday, and somewhere we come across this point that the organization of your essay or the structure of your essay matters in marks. Okay? If you have followed the right structure, if the content is organized, so it means that you are going to be given marks for it. At the same time, if you've written an essay but the structure is not valid, the organization is not fine, so as a result, you won't get mark in this area. So continuing. So though you know about the structure of an essay, since this has been a topic in the 11th grade, 10th grade as well, so an essay needs to be following a structure like an introductory para, body, and then what? A conclusion. All right. So this is the introduction. All right, and this is the body, and this is the conclusion. Got it? All right. Now, my job would be to further elaborate what you have to do in the introductory para, what is meant by the body, and what is the job, the purpose of a concluding para. Now, it doesn't mean that an essay needs to have 3 paras. No. An introductory para has a purpose. You have to focus that purpose. Likely, the body of the essay needs to meet a purpose, as well as the conclusion of an essay needs to meet a purpose. So, let's talk about it. In the introductory para, let me label it as the introductory para. Now, para here stands for paragraph. What you are supposed to do? You are supposed to use a hook, and you are supposed to use a thesis statement. Keep patience, and I am going to further talk about these things, right? Now let me go in detail what is the requirement of each part of an essay, and then further I will elaborate each point. So nothing else in the introductory para, hook is required and thesis statement is required. Now coming to the body, your body may further comprise some other paras. So let me write P1, P2 and P3. Repeating back, P1 stands for paragraph 1, P2 stands for paragraph 2, and P3 stands for paragraph 3. All right. Now, if we see the body is bigger than the intro and the conclusion, this is what you have to do. You have to tell yourself that when you are writing an essay, the body paras or the body of the essay should be larger, it should be bigger than the intro and the conclusion. All right? Why? We're going to talk about it. All right. So, by the way, body of an essay is the place where you give details about the subject you are writing. So you have to tell yourself that body of the essay is the place where I have to give details. So you could say that you're going to explain, you're going to elaborate, you're going to support your point of view whatsoever. So any discussion, any elaboration, details, explanation is required. You have to do it where? In the body of the essay. Now what happens in the body of an essay? The body of an essay is further divided into paras. I have listed 3 paras here. It doesn't mean that an essay has got just 3 paras in the body. No. If you are attempting a high school essay, a 3 paragraph in the body is fine. But at the same time, writing an essay at university level, or let's say that if you are appearing in the CSS exams or other competitive exams, so where the length of the essay is above 3,000 words or something like that, so it means that your essay and its body would be large and you will be engaging more and more paras in it, right? So ideally, what we are going to attempt for a college essay, that we are going to write an essay of almost 320 to 350 words, or let's say that 300 to 350 words. So 3 paragraphs are fine. At the same time, if you are going to write an essay of 800 words or 1000 words, of course, the number of paragraphs you have to add here. So that is what I have to say, that it's not 3 para, it depends upon the length of essay you are writing. If you are going to write essay of 1000, 2000 words, so more and more paragraphs are supposed to be added here. Got it? So now let me tell what happens in each para. So in the body, each para starts with a topic sentence. All right, so you need a topic sentence to start each paragraph. Then you need what? Main point. I'm going to write here main point number 1. As I mentioned, I will elaborate it, what it means. And then you need what? Supporting details. Got it? Got it? Now, it takes you back to paragraph writing, where you are supposed to start with a topic sentence and you are supposed to back it up by giving some supporting details for the topic, as well as you are supposed to conclude it. The same thing happens in the body paragraphs. Okay, I will explain it further. Coming to paragraph 2 of the body of an essay, I will now use abbreviations. For topic sentence, let me write TP. It means that in the body, each paragraph starts with a topic sentence, right? So the same will go for P3 as well, that it needs to start with a topic sentence. The second thing you need is MP. MP means main point. Now here I have written 1. Let me write here number 2. And here let me write MP number 3. Got it? And here I've written supporting detail, and let me use the abbreviation SD or SDs, supporting details. And same here, supporting details. Got it? All right. Now coming to the conclusion, what happens in the conclusion? In the conclusion, you have to make a paragraph which somehow summarize your MPs. What it means, that In the conclusion, of course, you are going to give a signal to your reader that you are going to summarize. You are moving towards conclusion. So what you are going to conclude, what you have been talking about, what you have been writing about. So you are going to summarize your main points, and summary is required. At the same point, you could restate your thesis statement. All right, and then you could conclude by giving suggestion. It could be recommendation, or it could be a question you could put here, and that makes the reader think about what question you have posed here, right? And that is the final impression. So let me now go in detail and talk about what each, or how we have to put each of these in our essay. Okay. At the same time, I have to tell you that if I'm standing in front of you as a person, you feel like I've got a head, a body, and a toe. Now, if I've got a head and a body but no toes, so it means that I can't stand properly in front of you. If I've got the toe and the body but not the head, even then it's like something is missing. The same goes for your essay. If you start with an introduction, you go with the body, but if you have not added an concluding para, it means that something is missing from your essay. Likely, if you directly start with your topic, giving details about your topic, it means that you have started with the body, you have the conclusion, but no introduction. It means that something is missing from your essay. And let me talk about this introductory para. This introductory para is very important. Like, it is the face of your essay. It is the face of your essay. It means that it's going to give an impression to the examiner or to anyone who is going to read it. Like, we see people and we recognize them by their faces. Okay, with a quick look, we have got an impression in mind that someone is good, bad, impressive, or what look they are giving to us, we have got an impression. Likely your introductory para or your introductory para gives impression to your reader or to your examiner. So I would suggest you that you should focus this introductory para whenever you are going to write an essay. If you are going to work on your introductory para, believe me that rest of the thing is going to be fine, because starting is a little difficult. All right, so don't get worried. We have got certain solution for it. Starting with the introductory para, you need hook. Can you name some hooks we use in everyday life? For example, fishing hook. Hook means something that holds. Loading hook. Okay, you see, people taking hook to hold something. And some of the vehicles have got hooks. They hook other vehicles. Jeep hook, yeah. Train hook. Fishing hook. Crane hook. All right, tractor hook. Okay, so the job of a hook is to link, to connect, to hold. Now here we're not talking about the tractor hook or the train hook. Here we are talking about writing hook. Now in writing hook, we are going to talk about, at one hand, we have got here the writer, and on the other end, we have got whom? We've got the reader. Are you getting it? So when you are writing, of course, You are a writer and it's expected that someone is going to read it. So there are two people engaged here. Writer, reader. So in the mid, what happens that the writing. Now based on the writing, either you could hook your reader or you couldn't hook your reader. Now by hook we mean that to attract. At the same time I could say to hold. To attract what? To attract the interest of your reader. To hold the attention of your reader. Now this is a difficult job. Now let me pose a question. How many times it happens that you start reading a book, whereas the initial pages matter? If you feel like the initial pages are interesting, you have this impression in mind that, oh, let me continue further. If the initial pages are a little boring for you, or they are not getting your attention or your interest, there are chances that you will not completely read the book. You will skip somewhere in the mid. The same happens with the reader. So the starting para is very important. You need to tell something to the reader. You need to give something to the reader that will hold the reader's attention, or at the same time you have to attract the interest of the reader towards your writing. If you fail to do this, believe me, your examiner is not going to read completely the essay. Got it? So the starting para is very important, and I need a separate lecture on hooks, writing hooks, and might be in the next class we would be talking about that what are the different types of hooks you could utilize in the introductory para. So you have to start with a hook in the introductory para. Now the second thing you need is a thesis statement. What is a thesis statement? Any idea? All right. So if I'm going to be very simple with making you understand what thesis statement means, I would say that it's the road map of your essay. Road map of your essay. In other words, I could say that thesis statement is actually what you are going to tell about the topic. What is your position on the topic? What is your stance on the topic? What is your opinion on the topic? So what I could do, your OPINI, opinion, plus topic is equal to thesis. Are you getting it? So the term seems to be difficult, but you need to understand the purpose of it. Okay? What is the purpose? That before writing on a topic, you need to have a clear, mind that what you are going to write on the topic. And I will suggest you that while writing on the topic, maybe you could start writing and you move away from the topic. Okay? You start writing, you move away from the topic. So that's why you need to first make a mind map. You need to think what you have to write on the topic. So you need to have a clear understanding of what to write and what not to write. And that is simply what? Your thesis statement. Okay? And throughout the essay, you have to follow that particular roadmap. You are not supposed to move here or there. You have to be focused on the topic. So that is what thesis statement means. All right? Okay. So coming to the body. As I mentioned, the body is the place for explanation, detail, elaboration of what you're going to talk on the topic. So the body has several paras. We are talking about each para. So each para in the body starts with a topic sentence. Now the question is, what is a topic sentence? Can anyone respond? What is a topic sentence? No? Yes. You need to be in a position to talk about topic sentence because we have done with it. We talked about paragraph writing. Somewhere I have used this term topic sentence. So repeating back, one sentence or couple of sentences that talk about the topic is a topic sentence. So why is the need of a topic sentence each time you start a new para? There is a reason. People, when we start writing, our focus remains on giving information to the reader. Now, what happens? We start writing and we move away from the topic. And at some point we feel like, hey, that's enough. Let me change the para. So when you change the para, you feel like you have moved away from the real topic. So what the topic sentence does, it holds your ear and takes you back to the topic. Got it? So each time you have to change the para, you have to tell something about the topic. Got it? All right. So what is a topic sentence? One sentence or couple of sentences about the topic. And let me tell you, this is not your thesis statement, and the topic sentence is not your main point or the points you have already brainstormed on the topic. It's journal statement about the topic. So make it a practice. Whenever you change the para, so you have to tell something about the topic. When you start a new para, you have to tell something about the topic. It could be anything. And then you have to introduce your main point. Now you could ask me that how we have to deal with the main point or how we have to generate the main point. So it has got a simple response that you don't need to get confused because the main points are the results of the pre-writing you had already done before doing this. So when you do the pre-writing, of course, you use several techniques of pre-writing. It could be free writing, it could be brainstorming, it could be clustering, it could be listing, anything. So as a result, you have got certain points, and in the process of writing, you have learned that after getting the points, what do you have to do? You have to select few, you have to reject few, right? And the points you have selected, you have to organize them, you have to number them. So number one, you have already given a number to your points, okay, in the planning stage, in the first stage where you are planning. So all these points, main point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatsoever number you are using comes from the pre-writing where you had already worked on it. Now what do you have to do? Since you have numbered your point according to the preference you were supposed to use them, you have to just fix it here in this map. Okay, so now you have suggested your main point. Now this main point needs to be backed up, or this needs to be supported with evidences, with examples, with explanation. So you are going to give the supporting detail for what? For the point you have added here, right? Got it? For example, if you say that Imran Khan is one of the best prime ministers in the history of Pakistan. Now this is just a statement. It needs to be proved, it needs to be supported with details, with evidences. So now I need supporting detail. Now what is meant by supporting detail? As I mentioned, it could be example, all right? It could be effect, it could be some figures, all right? It could be illustration, it could be references, you refer to research, you refer to studies, It could be the opinion of people as well. So anything you feel like that is going to back up your point is a supporting detail. So mostly in writings, what we do? We make use of examples, we make use of facts and figures. Now figure means that is in the form of number. For example, 25%. Or you say that 2,500 people. So this is what? Figure. Okay? So fact means anything that is true. And example, anything that is supporting the point is considered to be example. So you could refer to studies, research. You could make use of references. References of what? References of newspaper, references of media, references of research, references of studies, and so on. Got it? So, but you need to be careful. For references, it should be authentic. You can't blindly give reference to anything unless and until you know the real reference of it. For example, as I mentioned that in the history of Pakistan, Imran Khan has been an exemplary president, right? So I need to back it up. So I could make use of references. For example, I could say that according to a study or a survey or a research conducted by Independent Pakistan, there is a newspaper, Prime Minister Imran Khan has got popularity amongst all the Prime Ministers that have been in the history of Pakistan. So what I am doing? I am making use of reference. So in reference, you have to mention the source. And the source means that this is authentic. It could be newspaper, it could be a website, or anything. Got it? So now the same thing you have to follow for each of the paras in the body. So again here you will start with the topic sentence. Then you could introduce your main point number 2. And that main point needs to be backed up, supported through examples, fact, figure, references, illustration, anything. And the same goes for paragraph number 3. So once you are done with the body, and then you will be moving towards what? The conclusion, right? But there is one thing you need to keep in mind. If you are typing your essay, it's fine. You have got the choice to leave spaces or to set the font, all right, and the formatting of your essay. But when you are doing it manually, when you are writing manually, so of course the impression is very important. So I would suggest you that after the introductory para, leave a line, make it visible on the page, and then when you are done with the body, again you need to leave a line. And let's talk about the concluding para. So what you have to do in the concluding para, you have to summarize your MPs. You have to summarize what you have been talking about. And for that you need to signal. You have to tell your reader that, hey, I am moving towards the conclusion. And you could make use of transitional devices. Like here you could say that, in conclusion, to summarize in a nutshell, and then you could continue. So there is indicator. You are signaling to your reader that you are going to conclude your topic. So summarize your main points. Now here you don't need to rewrite your main points. You are going to summarize it, okay? As well as you're going to restate your thesis statement, and I would say it shouldn't be copied. For example, as I mentioned, Prime Minister Imran Khan has been a famous, or the most famous Prime Minister in the history of Pakistan. So I have supported it through certain points. Now what I will do, I will summarize it and then I have to restate my thesis statement. Now in this restatement, you should reword your thesis statement. You shouldn't exactly copy it from the introductory para. Try to tell it, but in a different manner. You have to use your thesis statement again, but what do you have to do? You could reword it. Some of the things you could change by bringing synonyms, antonym, or you could use the paraphrasing technique to restate your thesis statement. So it's suggested that you should do what? Rewording. Rewording means that some of the words should be changed from the first thesis statement you have used. And then coming towards the last thing you have to do in the concluding para, that you should conclude either by suggesting, making some suggestions regarding the topic, or you could make certain recommendation to the reader, or there is another technique that what you could do, that some writers leave a question to the reader and let them decide what is right, what is wrong. So either what you could do, you could pose a question in the end, letting the reader think about what you are saying. Engage them in a thinking process. So that is called the final impression. So you could finally conclude your essay by posing a question to the reader and let them think the answer or let them find the answer. Got it? Now this is lecture. What do we have to do? We have to apply all these things we have learned about the structure of an essay in the real essay writing process, right? So in the upcoming class, what we are going to do, what we have discussed here on the board, we're going to apply it in writing. And I will look forward that if not 100%, at least 60-70% of the things I've mentioned in front of you should be part of your practice. Okay? Any question till this point? No? So that is all for today's lesson. We'll meet soon with the next lecture on hooks, writing hooks. Thank you, please.